and let us all do we can to build a better future. Have a story for the people. What is going on?
Okay, so Nina Turner, good friend of the show. She's we've had her on twice.
We've had her on twice. Yes.
Twice.
That is true. I've actually interviewed Nina Turner twice.
Now the question of did our equipment crap out? But that's a separate story altogether.
But they are available on our YouTube channel.
Exist. The interviews
but check them out
exist.
after the show.
Yeah. We'll talk to her again. If Nina Turner ran 2024, that would be quite something.
And
I would love to see her run.
Be very happy to have
anyway,
her.
enough with wearing our biases on our sleeves. She did decide to pen a memo telling Joseph lawsuit blocking whatever Biden, trying to give him a good nickname, but it didn't work out.
Sleepy creepy Uncle Joe. There you go.
Yeah, it's much better, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm thinking too hard.
Come on, that's what I'm here for.
That's fair. Okay, so she did pen a letter to him, basically saying, "Hey, don't screw this up. Here's how you can not screw this up." Let's take a look. After the dust settles, pundits, political operatives, and party insiders are already swarming to tell the story of what happened in 2020. They'll zero in on the smallest margins, the most unlikely Trump to Biden swing voters, the affluent white suburbanites. Remember, we talked about that before. You don't matter. It's unless you're a middle class mom living in Ohio in a suburb, then you matter. Anyway, so as the exit polls are being finalized, but as of now, they show about working people, brown, black, and white families making under 100,000, along with the vast majority of young people, delivered Biden his victory. True. Not only did they vote for him in overwhelming numbers, they knocked doors. Well, I mean, maybe they didn't knock as many doors. Made calls and carried out the hard work of democracy during a pandemic, which, of course, they were thanked by saying, "Get out." These voters are the heart of the future of a massive progressive movement inside and outside the Democratic Party. I really appreciate that she goes inside and outside rather than what we usually would see. And it is them that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris must answer. President Donald Trump has been a disaster for poor and working class people, so they used voting as a tool to fight back. Hammered by a government by, of, and for the 1%, are extreme centrists that we talked about earlier. Brutalized by COVID-19 inaction and economic disaster, pummeled with racist rhetoric and white supremacist violence, they have delivered a rebuke to Trump. True statement. But the result was also a warning for Biden. I do like Nina Turner for her writings. She does.
Well, okay. Tell me what's wrong, because this is a true warning and a message to the Biden administration that if they don't listen, we're going to be right back where we started.
Exactly. I'm glad someone in government's saying it, at least. It's crazy. We've been covering so much. It's like our bar is so low. It's nice to have
thank you,
someone's
Nina.
reasonable.
Thank you, Nina Turner.
But the result was also a warning for Biden. In the midst of overlapping national crises, his administration has a critical window to deliver the working class and young people who got him elected if he fails to meet the moment. If he seeks instead to return us to a normalcy, marked by corporate handouts and extreme inequality. By the way, corporate handouts, what we would call corporate socialism, which Susan Collins does not have an issue with at all, then the next Trump might be far more dangerous than the one we just defeated. That's what we've been saying. Thank you, Nina. We think very similar.
Thank you, Nina Turner. Thank you so much.
It's so nice to have. Anyway, I'm getting excited. We can already see hints of this in voters of color, taken for granted by the Democratic Party, shifting marginally towards Trump in 2020. Though they still carried Biden to victory by a 46% margin, the lesson is clear. The Democratic Party ignores its own base at its own peril. Can you imagine any business going well, the people around us are 24 to 35, well-to-do. Screw them. We're not going to cater to them. But they have to come to us, or we're going to yell at them and tell them they're very bad, very bad indeed.
Yeah, see?
So that means passing a Green New Deal to lift our economy out of recession, create millions of jobs to address climate change head on. It means passing Medicare for All to prevent thousands of Americans from dying or going bankrupt due to COVID-19 and other illnesses. It means making the wealthy pay their share of taxes and reversing the massive tax giveaway that was Trump's crowning legislative achievement. And it means electoral reform to ensure our government actually reflects the will of the majority. Crazy. That sounds like socialism to Susan Collins and Nancy Pelosi. These and other policies represent not only what Biden should do, but what he must do. Politically, a return to normalcy is simply a route back to Trumpism. A so-called normalcy has never worked if you are poor or among the barely middle class, and it will not work now. So that's Nina Turner. That's a person in government in America. What a shock. I know. Making some very salient points. I'm very glad to see. It seems like she's watched the show a little bit. I hope so.
I know. Hey, maybe Nina Turner's she's probably a subscriber to Heartlands Media.
Yeah, that would be really nice, wouldn't it? It's nice to see that there are still people in government. Like, this is a much harder critique than even Sanders would do.
Yeah.
Sanders is basically just do it. Well, whatever happens, I'll take it. Whereas Nina
is calling it.
Nina's calling out. She's someone that could run in 2024, 2028. And I would, it's going to depend based on what Biden doesn't do. And I very much feel like this paper that she wrote is going to be a lesson in 4 years of all the stuff he didn't actually do and ignored and thought he can get around, so that when the election happens again, people are like, I don't understand. Why did we lose? Or why did we lose the primary? I don't get it. And maybe there will be enough people upset with the Democratic Party in 4 years that there will be a groundswell. Yeah. Although that's not a thing I've hoped, and that's a thing that'll either happen or it won't, or perhaps enough people leave and Nina Turner does the same.
Yep.
But all I can say right now is I'm glad to see someone saying this in government.
Okay, so there's a couple things I want to say. Number one, you're absolutely correct in Nina Turner giving a very harsh critique towards the Biden administration, but the Biden administration needs to hear this. Now, the sad fact is Biden and the extreme centrists within his administration, look at his administration right now. It's already being made up of lobby groups, bankers, Wall Street executives, the top 1%, career politicians. They're not going to listen. And who knows how this midterm is going to play out, but if the Democrats lose more seats or they barely even hold on to their quote-unquote majority of 219 seats, it's already telling that the Democrats don't want to listen. And the thing is, this is what happens when you give up your power to vote for the lesser of two evils. Because now that Democratic voters and the people who voted for Biden have given up their power, basically, Biden and Harris don't have to listen to anybody. They're just going to listen to their lobby groups, and they're going to make up their administration and return back the soul. Well, here's what's really happening, and here's what Nina Turner is saying that we've been saying on the show. Either Trump runs again, or we're going to get somebody worse than Trump. Number two, again, Americans, we need a universal basic income. We need a Federal Jobs Guarantee Act. We need Medicare for all. We need student debt forgiveness. We need medical debt forgiveness. We need housing as a human right. We need to fight climate change. We need to end these regime change wars. We need to invest into our infrastructure. We need to get money out of politics. We need to make sure we have election integrity. Is this something that the Democratic establishment and the RNC establishment are going to do? No. But all those things I listed and so many more that I haven't listed are popular amongst Democratic voters, Republican voters, independent voters, libertarian voters, green voters, socialist voters. I mean, here's the thing. We have a political system that doesn't represent us. And the only person that's been speaking truth right now has been Nina Turner. And I'm so glad that we actually got that article. And you can find that article in our show notes. But if nothing fundamentally changes, we're going to be right back where we started from. And all this smugness saying, well, we can't worry about big ideas. We can't do this right now. Well, Biden, everyone's making all these excuses for Biden because of Trump. You can't use that scapegoat, and I'm not going to stand for it, and neither should any of you. Because if nothing fundamentally changes, we're going to be having the same conversation over and over again. And I'm not going to want to hear about how people want to protest in front of Trump Tower. Because right now, the guy is apparently, looks like he's on the way out. Who knows how this will play out in the long run? But if we don't do big changes, we're gonna be stuck here again and again and again. And who wants to be stuck in that world? Daniel, what's the final word?
Just want to say on that note, the media is like very fond of telling people that they don't agree with that they're conspiratorial as they're conspiracy theorists themselves. Like this big conspiracy theory. Yeah, a big conspiracy that's happened right now that has like very little evidence that like Trump's gonna like lock himself in the White House and like everyone's gonna defect and join Donald Trump.
What?
They've been pushing that for a while.
I know. I'm just saying. What?
Yeah, exactly. It's all very stupid.
Yeah, Trump's gonna land safely, and you want to know why? Obama and Biden never prosecuted the Bush administration. Trump never locked up Hillary. You really think Trump is going to
It's
try to
just
start
a
his own
news
TV
story.
show.
They're just trying to scare people.
He's going to do his own TV show and TV network that's going to go up against Fox News. It's one big club.
That's what he wanted to do originally.
It's one big club, and guess what? We're not in it.